Wholesaling versus rehabbing. Which strategy is right for you? When can you or when should you start looking at fixing and flipping some properties? How much money do you actually need? Costs, risks, profits, expectations. Let's talk about all that good stuff in today's video. And I think some of the answers might actually surprise you. What's up, guys? Mike Hill, the Wholesaling Titan here, and I'd like to start this discussion with a story from my early days in the real estate game that I think a lot of you can relate to. So, when I first started in real estate, I obviously did not have any money. As a matter of fact, I kid you not, I didn't even have the $15 door fee to attend my first RIA meeting. I had this jar of change, and obviously I'm not going to show up with that. So I left super early for this meeting, and I went down to the supermarket to dump my coins in, the Coinstar machine, just so I could show up with cash at the door. Like, it was that bad. So, oh, and before I forget, please remember, guys, to like the video and subscribe to the channel so I can keep telling you these stories about my goofy beginnings, all the dumb shit I did, and all the lessons that I've learned along the way, learned the hard way so that you don't have to. Very much appreciated. So anyway, my real estate investing education started in those meetings where I was immediately drawn to wholesaling because you can truly do no money down deals. Again, I did my first deal without spending even a penny. As a wholesaler, you're essentially a glorified deal finder. You find a discounted property and sign a contract to purchase it. Now you have the exclusive rights to purchase, meaning of the 8 billion people in the world, you're the only person who can legally purchase the deal. The right to purchase becomes an asset, and you can sell those rights for a fee. So you're essentially finding deals and flipping the paper. You aren't fixing up the property or doing any repairs. So now let's contrast that with the rehabber. This is someone who's going to buy a property under market value. Typically, it's going to be distressed, and they're going to fix it up and then resell it for a profit. Now, they could find these properties themselves, but it's pretty common for rehabbers to source these properties from wholesalers. So because you can start wholesaling with little to no money, this is where a lot of beginners start. And as I started to attend these real estate meetings, my understanding was that there was kind of this hierarchy of progression, meaning you have wholesalers here at the bottom, and you use that strategy to build up some capital. Once you do that, you graduate to becoming a rehabber because now you have some cash to play with and you can typically make larger profits. Then, once you stack up those profits, your primary strategy shifts to buying your own properties. You become a landlord, you can focus on cash flow, and then with experience, you can, get into some creative stuff. And that's the character arc, as I understood it, of an investor. So the question is, when should you transition from each of these phases, and specifically from primarily a wholesaler to being a rehabber? Well, one of the reasons I wanted to make this video is to challenge that assumption that so many investors, especially new investors, have. And I want to tell you guys a story of a guy named Jim. Now, Jim is a very popular wholesaler here in South Florida. And going back to my early days attending those RIA meetings, Jim, he shared his experience. Jim is an older guy, he's probably in his 60s and very successful in real estate. And he was initially operating under the framework of that investor trajectory that I just talked about. And after wholesaling for a bit, he went and did his first rehab, or maybe it was even a few rehabs. And he came and he just told us that it was the most stressful process. He hated it. He wanted nothing to do with rehabs, and he just wanted to be a wholesaler. And this was really, really shocking to me. I bought into the stereotype that wholesalers, skewed younger, broker, and more inexperienced. And I've known Jim now as a wholesaler for over 10 years. As a matter of fact, he provided me with the transactional funding for my very first double closing back in 2012. And we've done a lot of joint venture deals since then. But this really challenged my belief systems. Now, I remember even when I did my first rehab, the profit was pretty significantly more than I was making on my wholesale deals. We're talking $90,000 in profit. And side note, this was an on market property that I found on Zillow, by the way, that I got under contract with no money down. Now, if you are interested in learning how to find and flip on market properties, I have a free course. You can download it, check it out in the description below. On market properties are what I like to call low hanging fruit because you can find these properties with no marketing budget. You take on zero risk, you put them under contract with no money down, and you can flip them for a nice profit. So, and this is exactly, by the way, how a lot of my new students do their very first deals. So again, link in description, go check it out. So anyway, I made a good amount of money on that first rehab, and I've done many rehabs since then. But I have had that same experience. The process on all of my rehabs is far more stressful. You take on significantly more risk, and you have to be more calculating, right? You're risking your own money. Like if something happens, whether it's theft, a fire, natural disaster, you're on the hook. You have additional costs, holding costs, closing costs, taxes, maintenance, insurance. If you're using hard money, you're paying significant interest. And personally, I did a decent amount of physical labor on many of my rehabs. I also had to be physically present at the property a lot of the time. If you're doing a rehab, you'll likely need to find, hire, and or manage a subcontractor or day laborers. There are almost always going to be additional expenses and unforeseen costs. And that's not just repairs. Imagine someone steals materials or someone breaks into the house and takes the appliances or, comes in and rips the copper out of the walls. Now, in contrast, I have literally been sitting poolside in Las Vegas. One summer, I actually booked a hotel room for 30 days because that was the max. They wouldn't let me book for more. And then I had to actually rebook for additional time at the end of those 30 days. But while I was there, I got multiple 5-figure wires deposited in my account while on vacation on deals in Florida. I've been skiing in Colorado and had the same experience on properties that I had never seen, where I took on no risk, didn't put up any capital, and it's just 100% stress free. And so I want to encourage you guys to not think about one investment strategy being better or of higher status or more prestigious than another. And, kind of buying into some of the social pressures or stereotypes. In addition to just looking at cost and profit, also think about what you like to do. Think about the risk. And perhaps most importantly, think about lifestyle. Like right now, pretty much all of my deals are done virtually. I don't meet sellers, I don't meet buyers, I don't see these properties. And the fantastic thing about real estate investing is that you don't need to label yourself. You don't need to compartmentalize or limit yourself. I mean, sure, it's recommended to specialize, and I'm not telling you not to do rehabs. What I'm saying is that if you're primarily a wholesaler, you don't need to pigeonhole yourself. There will be times where you'll come across deals where the profit margin is just too good for you to give away, and you can keep it for yourself. And that's what has organically happened in my career. So let's say you have 10 deals. You can cherry pick the best one for yourself and rehab it or hold it. You can give a few to your parents or family or friends and then wholesale the rest. The next point I'd like to make is that you don't need to hit a certain level of experience or capital to become a rehabber. Again, with the labels. Really, it just comes down to how good the deal is. An analogy I like to give my students is, imagine if the owner of the Empire State Building was willing to sell you the Empire State Building for $1 million cash. Now, you don't have $1 million in your bank account, but you would be a fool to say no because you know that because it's such a good deal, anybody who has $1 million would lend you that money. And this goes back to one of the main ideas in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The idea that smart people, wealthy people, they use and leverage OPM, other people's money. And so if you can find a really good deal, you don't need to worry about whether you have the money in your bank account or not. You will find someone who will lend you the money. So ultimately, the real takeaway that I want you to have is that You don't need to look at these roles and exit strategies as some type of progression that you have to make. You don't need to limit yourself and fit into a box. I have students who have become full time wholesalers who have gone on to do rehabs, own rentals, dive into Airbnb, and even do things that I have no knowledge about. One of my students, Steve, sent me a testimonial about how he's buying and operating assisted living facilities using my training. Also, you should not only think about profit, but again, think about the lifestyle that you want to live and the levels of freedom that you would like to attain. And if there's one skill set that you should focus on, I would encourage you to learn how to source deals, how to source and analyze good deals. From there, you can make the decision on a case by case basis what you'd like to do with any given property. And when you adopt this way of thinking, not only will this allow you to make smarter decisions, but it can actually help you to negotiate better. And as a wholesaler, it can actually help you to lock in more properties. And here's why. A common question that trips up a lot of wholesalers is when a seller or an agent, usually one who's a little bit more knowledgeable, but they may have a bias against wholesalers. Maybe they got burned in the past or something. But they ask you if you're a wholesaler. So you simply let the inquiring party know that you are an investor. You're going to run the numbers, you're going to do some due diligence, you're going to look at different exit strategies, and based on your findings, you'll do what makes the most sense for you, meaning, you're open to different exit strategies. Now, that's being 100% honest and ethical, and you also come across as more knowledgeable, more credible, and even more experienced. So I hope this gives you guys a little bit more context. Kind of think a little bit differently about the wholesaling versus rehabbing discussion. And if you would like to learn more about how to find those good deals, whether you've done 100 deals or 0 deals, whether you have a large marketing budget or a budget of $0, check out the link to my website in the description below, where I have a ton of free giveaways. This week, I'm giving away free access to Wholesaling with Mike University. This includes my entire new updated wholesaling course with over 20 plus hours of instructional video, a day-by-day blueprint so you know exactly what you need to do, contracts, forms, calculators, ebooks, scripts, and more. Also with that, I've got a free trial to my wholesaling software and CRM, REI Titan. Guys, I just want you to try it because I know you'll love it and I know you'll get results. This is what my students and I are currently using to do all of our deals. And I mean, man, prospecting, done for you campaigns, pre-built websites, conversation bots, social media integration, automations, direct mail campaigns. I mean, you can send 1 year of the highest converting direct mail pieces I've ever used at the perfect time in literally 10 seconds. Like, set it and forget it. I've got SMS campaigns, email campaigns, a power dialing system, a done for you follow up system, electronic document signing, the absolute latest in artificial intelligence, and I could go on and on. It's basically like having a full-time staff of employees working for you 24/7, and they never need to sleep. They never need to, they never ask for a raise. And it's easy to use, even if you're not tech savvy. You can have your entire business set up and running literally in a weekend. Now, there's so much more than I can get through in just this video. So again, there's a free trial. Go check it out. There are videos to walk you through exactly how to use it, how to set it up, how everything works. It's all in chronological order. I have students who have never done a deal before, who have gone from setup to their first deal in the same month. Okay, so again, check that out in the description below. So now is the time I want to ask you guys, what questions do you have about today's video and your journey as a real estate investor? Please leave those in the comment section down below and let me know, what video would you like me to make next? What topic should we cover? I want to thank you guys so much for your support of the channel. Please do me a solid, check that, click that like button. Really helps the channel out a great deal. Also subscribe so you never miss another video, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, peace.